The trick to get, I did it. Right, okay, I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I got this off Amazon like 3-4 years ago. So, and it was by Music Flower. I don't think they sell it anymore though, so you won't be able to buy it. This is gonna use a small angled brush. Yeah, and we're gonna get a bit of product on there. And I'm gonna start with the line across the bottom of the brow. It's better to follow the real line of your brow because otherwise it ends up too low and then you end up with less room for your eyeshadow. I like my eyebrows with quite a high angle in the curve. You tuck it under there and then just pull down. Now you never want to go too far because otherwise your eyebrows look really long and it looks a bit silly. And then we're going to go across the top, across here, and then meet down at the bottom. Where you stop the line here is where the high part of your brow, the angle around the here, is going to be, so you can choose where you want it, but I normally try and make it a bit of a sharp corner. And then you can just fill in. It's better to keep this bit a little bit sparse for the faded brow because it's like an Instagram brow, that's how we like it nowadays. You just start colouring in. Now remember, it doesn't matter if it's not the neatest lines because we're going to clean it up with a bit of concealer afterwards anyway. Now at this bit you want to use less product, and this is where the angled brush comes into play because it's got that sharp line and it's very thin, so you can do individual brush strokes. And now I've finished with that brow. I'm going to tidy it up with a bit of concealer now. I use the Max Factor pan stick. Now I used to use this basically as a foundation on my face, and then I basically ran out. There's like none left. There's only that little bit, so rather than getting rid of it because there's all this product in there, I use a small brush. I do believe this is a lip brush. This is a lip brush. But I use this to clean up the brows. So I just get a little bit of product on there, you don't need too much. You literally just spread it out a bit and then clean them up. There's the underneath all clean, then we're going to go around the edge. Now be careful with this bit because you've added those individual hairs, so you want them to kind of try and stay all fluffy and upwards. So if you follow from this line here across the top, missing out the front bit, and then you do the same across this angle here. And then we have a nice clean brow. The best way to do the bit in the middle here, where we've not touched yet, is to clean up this bit and just kind of use the excess that's left on the brush. You don't need a lot, so you're just going to straight line, and then whatever's left, you just kind of fluff it out a little bit. And then it doesn't take away from the fact that you've got a nice fluffy natural front bit of your brow. And then just to finish off the brow, this is my Soap and Glory Archery. It's got the brow defining crayon, but I'm not using that today. I'm using the other end, which is a brow gel. I'm just gonna clean them up. Make sure they stay where they're supposed to. And then there's one brow, and I'm going to do the other brow and I'll be back. So I'm about to do my eyeshadow, and to do this I'm going to prime my eyes. Now depending on what colour I use, so say if I'm using like a brown or a neutral tone, I'll normally just use my foundation or my concealer because it's kind of a shade of brown in a way. Whereas when I'm using a bright colour, I want it to almost be as if you're drawing on a blank piece of paper. So I normally use white foundation, and I got this. This is their MUA, and they make the Pro Base foundation. And this is in the shade 100. And it's literally the palest one I could find, and I thought this will be perfect for me. You get eyes, put a bit on the eyes. Now we're going to use a sponge, a beauty blender. We're just going to blend it. And this will create a nice sticky base so that any shadows we use will be able to adhere straight to it. That'll do. Okay, now I'm going to use the Revolution Alexa Stone palette, and I'm going to use the pink shades. These shades down here. Now the first brush I'm going to go in with is a Laura Geller brush. Now I'm going to use this end because it's almost, you know, it's at an angle, but it's a fluffy blending brush, and it's nice and it's soft, but it's at an angle. So let's start off with that one. Okay, and I'm going to go in with this shade here. And I'm going to literally take a little bit, and we're going to almost follow the line of my brow. And then again, we're going to go downwards, following the angle that brow follows. And I'm going to do the same on the other eye. Now I'm going to take another brush. Now this one is a Bare Minerals brush. Now I'm going to take the same colour, and I'm literally just going to do the tiniest little dab, because we only want a little bit, because we're just going to use it to blend out the top of that line. If you see here, it's starting to blend out a little bit, it's not as harsh. And you're going to blend all the way. And then I'm going to take the lighter shadow in the palette, this one, and we're going to use that to blend out this shade. And just blend, blend, blend. Always remember, blending is the key. Now I'm going to do the same to the other eye. Now once you've done that, we're going to go back in with this angled brush, and we're going to go into the deeper shade. So we've already used these two, and now we're going to go into this shade here. So I'm going to use this shade mostly, and we're going to go underneath, but we're going to use most of it in this corner. We're going to try and focus it on this corner. If you keep this as close to the crease, the natural crease in your eye as possible, you can't really go wrong. Now we're going to take again the fluffy blending brush, and we're going to use that same colour, and we're going to blend it into this one. Now I'm going to use that lightest colour again, and we're going to see how there's a little bit of an empty gap in these corners here. We're going to use this to slightly soften it. Now you don't want it to be too pink, because we are going to add a bright white shade in there later on. And now we're going to go in for the darkest pink in the palette, which is this one at the bottom. And we're literally only going to use the blending brush. And I'm just going to dab in. We're just going to add to that outer corner again. So the best way to add depth and dimension is to use those darker colours and to always blend. I'm going to do the same to the other eye. Now once that's even, we're going to move on to doing a cut crease. Again, I normally use the pan stick from Max Factor. So again, I'm taking the lip brush, take a little bit of product on both sides of the brush, because you want it to be as sharp as possible at this tip. You want them to meet together, all the bristles to meet together. Now the best way to create a cut crease is to follow that line. So that line that sinks in, the best way to do it is to follow that curve across there. So I'm going to do that. And then you can just, if you just dab with your finger, I feel this is the best tool. And then I'm going to pick up a packing brush, as in we're going to use a glitter. Okay, now to add to the cut crease, I'm going to use the Revolution, and this was the Halloween Rainbow palette. Now they've got some really nice bright colours in here, but the one we're going to use is this silver one here, which I do believe is called Liberty. So we're going to add that bright silver to our lid. Now, using the packing brush, you just want to add to one side, and we're just going to stamp it on. Now, to make this a little bit more of a seamless crease, we're just going to use the last bits of pink that are on this brush to just soften up those edges a little bit. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other eye. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the foundation. Now to start with, I'm going to clean up these edges so that we've got a nice base to work on. So very simple, I'm going to go from the outer corner of my eye to the lower corner of my eyebrow. Very easy, just wipes off that excess. I'm going to do the same on the other eye. I'm going to start with using primer. Now I'm going to use one of my favourites. I've not got a lot left. It's Benefit the Professional. Now I'm going to use this one because I have quite big pores and I don't have great skin. So I like this one because it helps to hide the imperfections. Now just to add a little bit of extra shine, I'm going to add a tiny bit of the Autograph Illuminating Primer. Now I'm only going to need a little bit of this because it can add quite a bit of shimmer in there. And then I'm just going to rub it all in. Okay, so now we're going to go on with foundation. Now I've been using this foundation for a while. It's by Dolten. It's called the Hydrolux foundation. Now to put my foundation on, I'm going to be using the Zalis Beauty Blender sponge. Now I love this sponge. It's a microfiber sponge, and I feel like it does a good job of not holding the product, and it disperses it well on your face rather than keeping it all in here. Now I like full coverage foundations because, as I've said, I don't have the best of skin, and I like to cover it all up. The only problem I would say I have with this foundation is that as you leave it on your skin, you probably notice that it oxidizes after a bit, which is always bad for me because I'm a very pale person. Okay, I would say that's my foundation done. Yeah? Okay, now for concealer. Now this is the Tarte Shape Tape. I'm pretty sure you all know the Tarte Shape Tape. It's been voted world's best concealer. This came with the Tarte Shape Tape concealer. This is I think it's something of the sea sponge that they call it. Now this is why I like to use this sponge in particular for my concealer, because it has a flat side to it, which makes it very easy to add that concealer and create that clean line across there. Now we're going to set the concealer because we don't want it to crease. So So I'm going to use an all-over powder. Now this is the Balance and Brighten foundation, and it's supposed to be a foundation, but it's baked. Now it's all marbled, and it's supposed to contour to all the different colours of your skin. So they literally just bake it, and it has a lot more coverage. I like this because, as I've said before, I love full coverage. So if I can get more out of a powder, then I will. So I'm just literally just gonna dust this around the whole face so that all the concealer that we've just put on doesn't crease. Right, now that I've got my base done, I'm going to add bronzer. I use the Benefit Hoola. Now I only use the brush that comes inside it for contouring my nose because it's quite a nice brush for that, so we add a bit down there to either side of the nose. Now, depending on the shape of your nose, depends on how you contour, but this is the best way for me. Okay, and then I'll literally just use this brush again just to add a little line right underneath there. Adds a bit of depth and dimension to the lips. And then I have a soft brush. Now I do believe this is Royal and Langnickel, and I use it because I find it very easy to as soon as you put it on, it's already blending. Like, there's no harsh lines, there's nothing you have to sit there and buff out. It just applies it so easily that it just takes you seconds to do your bronzer. I can't really complain. Now I'm going to use the same brush that I used with my powder just to literally dust this off. Now if you literally just keep going, all those harsh lines disappear. I do also use the Laura Geller one. Now this is quite a shimmery bronzer, which is why I don't like to use a lot. I use the Hoola as my base. And again, I use the same brush, and I'll just dab in it, and I'll just add a little bit more just to darken up the corners. Now next I'm going to add, now I've been using this for a long time and there's not a lot left. As you can see, there's not a lot left. I hit pan a long time ago, but this is the Laura Geller Baked Chandelier Blush in Chandelier Glow. To apply it, I'm going to use a soft brush. It's a very fluffy brush. Now I like this brush because as you add your blusher, it contours perfectly to your cheek. You don't even have to know where to put it. It just does it for you. But I will then go in with the Benefit Rocketeur blush. And again, like I said, I don't really like shimmery things, which is why I won't use this as my base for my blush, because it's very shiny. But it smells so good. But I'm going to use the brush that comes in it, and I'm literally just going to sweep over the top just to add that extra little bit of a flush. There's the majority of the face makeup done. All I need to do now is add some highlighter. Now for my highlight, I'm going to go in with the Revolution Beauty palette. Now I like this one. They do a warm tone one too, but this is the Ultra Cool Glow, and I'm very into having all different kinds of colours on my eyes. So this is perfect for me because if I'm doing like a green look, I can use the green one. This pink here, it's pink, but it's got almost a blue undertone to it, which is probably the one I'm going to end up using today. I'm going to use this brush. This is the Laura Geller brush, and this is perfect for just catching those cheeks. Now I'm going to add the white and the purple, as they both have blue undertones to them. And all I can see now here is this blue sheen across the face. I'm going to use this small brush. Again, this is a Laura Geller brush. Now this is a small brush. So I'm using the same highlighters and literally just going to run down that line where I missed out the bronzer. So I'm just going to add a bit until it's shiny. And then I'm going to add a bit to the tip of the nose. And then, last but not least, I'm just going to add a bit to the Cupid's bow. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna add some Urban Decay setting spray. Now this is the long lasting makeup setting spray. So I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a shake. And then we're just gonna leave that to dry for a minute. Okay, so next I'm gonna add a bit of highlight to the inner corner and underneath the brow bone. And to do that, I'm using the Alexis Stone palette, and this is the Transformation palette. Again, because I'm going for pink, I'm going to use this one as my highlight, because rather than it being a solid colour like these ones are, it's see-through until you look in the light, and then it's got bits of glitter in it. So I'm going to use this one because it's got pink, little bits of pink in there, which is what we want. So I'm just going to dip the corner of the brush, and I'm just going to add to these inner corners. Now, already you're starting to see a difference, and I've not even put a lot on. Now, I told you, I like to be really sparkly. If I'm wearing sparkles or something's bright or shiny, I want you to know about it. So, I'm going to keep piling it on. And now I'm going to do underneath the brows. Now, I'm going to use the same again with the pink. And I'm just going to add it to the corner. Now, as I move, you should start to see a shimmer across the corner. And it adds that shimmer. It adds a bit of dimension again. It almost lifts the eye. It's good. It's good to do. Now, next, I'm going to be adding this pink that we used up here underneath the eye to draw it all in together, make it all one look. So, I'm just going to stamp under the eye with the darker colours. I'm going to quickly just try and dust off that excess, and then I'm going to use the light pink to draw it in from the inner corner. And then just sweeping it across. Okay, so that's it for the eyeshadow, and now I'm going to add some black liner, and it is just black eyeliner, and I'm just going to use this to draw in the waterlines. So and then the same run along the top. And then next I'm going to be using, this is YSL, it's probably one of the most expensive things I own. This is the mascara from, how do you say, Yves Saint Laurent. I do love this mascara, it's very good. It's particularly good for getting at the bottom lashes, however you have to be a bit careful because, as we know with bottom lashes, they are very sparse and small, and trying to use a big brush, it's very dangerous. You can get any little bit of black on your foundation and it's pretty much game over. The trick to get, I did it. I'll explain. The trick to getting rid of mascara is to wait for it to dry and then use the eyebrow spoolie. You know, I do this a lot. I have twitchy hands. This happens a lot. It's normally on the bottom eyelashes, which is literally what I was talking about as it happened. But we'll get it, don't you worry, we'll get it. She thinks she's staying, but she's not, she's going. She doesn't pay rent. Add that mascara to the bottom lashes, and then I'm going to do the other eye. Okay, so, as you can see, I may have slightly messed up. This happens to me very often, always annoys me. I always sit there and, and have a go at myself for it because it basically ruins your whole makeup. However, if you use a spoolie, now these are great for brushing your eyebrows, making sure it's all good. It's basically the same as a mascara wand in a way, but it's got these little fibres on it. This happens to be like the perfect tool made for getting rid of mascara. Now, the main thing is you have to wait for it to dry, because if you don't, you're just going to try and pick it off and it's just going to smudge and it's going to make it even worse. You want to try and leave it as a clump, because the more of a clump it is, the easier it is to get off. Once you start smudging it, there's no going back. So I'm literally just going to start scratching. And you can see it already coming off. Now make sure you wipe it because you're going to get little bits of black on there and you don't want to keep smudging it into the skin. So just keep scratching away and you'll see it'll all start to come off. Now, once you've got all of the top bit off, this is where I say it's technically ruined. Like, your makeup is now over. However, you can, you can smudge it a little bit. You can add more foundation. You can do all these little things. Now, I am literally just going to get my sponge that I use my foundation and stuff with. And I'm literally just going to try and get as much of the product out of the end as possible. Now, I've got a bit on my finger. I'm going to rub it on and I'm going to sponge. Now, once you've got rid of, you've got rid of the clump with the spoolie, and now look, as you're seeing, I'm just getting rid of that little bit of greyness that's left behind, and I'm forcing it to blend with the rest of my foundation. And then I'm literally going to take my brush and my powder. I'm just going to double it on top. And there we go. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my lips. I pretty much always use a lip liner. I am one of those people that, even though I'm very adventurous with eyeshadow colours and bright colours, I do like to go very neutral with my lip colours. So I'm literally just going to line the lips, and we're just going to make sure that it all looks natural. Then I'm going to take basically the same lip liner, and these are by the Body Collection. They're made in England too. Basically a darker version of that colour, and I'm just going to add little bits to the corner and in the middle. Right now it looks slightly silly, you're looking at me like, what have you done with your life? And I'm about to put on the Profusion matte lip cream. I absolutely love these lipsticks. Now, I love this because it smells like drumsticks. Oh, and this smells so good. But I'm literally just going to cover the lips, what I've got now. And as you'll notice, once I've covered it, you won't be able to see these different colours. However, it will almost add a darkness to the corners to create that nice full lip look. Fill it all the way to where the line is. So I would say this is the end of the look. I'm not putting lashes on today because I don't feel the need to. I feel like my eyebrows look good. I like the whole silver look with the pink. I think it's good, and I love highlight. So I feel like today we did well. I feel like I've gone for a good look today, and I think it all pulls together nicely. So I'll see you all guys next time. I will try and upload as often as possible, and please, if you can, let me know how, give me some constructive criticism. Tell me what I need to do better, what I'm already good at, help me out a bit, let me know what you like, what you enjoy, what kind of products you'd want me to try out, I would like you to tell me. You are my audience, so I'm going to do everything I can for you guys. So have a good day, bye.